So the self-development potential of this time is that you now have a situation in which the outside world has dropped off and it reveals your inner life bare. It's undiluted. You see all the patterns. If there is what you see as a dysfunction, that dysfunction will seem very loud because now it's going to be contained in the four walls. If there's interpersonal conflict, that interpersonal conflict is going to be very vivid to you. And you might think, well, what's the point of kind of having it vivid to me if I can't do anything about it? Keep in mind that you can do something about it, but this action for now will have to be an inner action rather than outer action. So now what you have, unless you're a medical professional, what you have is you have time, you have awareness, and you have an existential challenge of the kind that doesn't repeat very frequently. This might be once in a lifetime thing. So, which is why it's so important to take this opportunity. So, usually we're so taken up by our outside lives that we don't really see this as time, and we don't give enough time to it. We don't have such clear awareness. So what would that mean? So first, what does that mean, inner action? What are some very small things, small steps that if you did these few steps, it would help later on when you're back in the world would help you with your self-development much more. So first thing to keep in mind is that the self really consists of many different aspects. So here is the 5 things. You have your body, which holds all your past and all the neural patternings. So this is the part of you that will try to keep replicating itself. So the way that I was yesterday will replicate in the way I am today, and it will replicate in the way I am tomorrow. And what this set of neural connections does is it sets into action a set of motivations, goals that I have, which will then give me particular thoughts and emotions and behavior. So the first advantage you can take in this situation that is very unique is this motivation part. So you can become aware of which motivational system is dominating your goal system. And just even being aware will keep the choices that you're making about these be very vivid to you. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so most of us have, yes, we have this survival system, this ape system, and it is this system that has been very activated. This system just wants you to survive, reproduce. It wants, just like all monkeys do, it wants your resources, it wants you to have security, wants you to have status. And this is the system that will disproportionately try to protect only your family member and your inner circle. And here you have these emotions that are all goal-based, right? So you will feel happiness if you do manage to protect them. You don't feel happiness, and you feel sad if you don't, and so on. And here's where you will continually compare yourself with other people. So it's really important for you to know when this system strikes, you will be thinking, okay, how does this affect me disproportionately than my neighbor, than this colleague? So do I have enough food in comparison to other people out there at home? These kinds of thoughts. Why should I expose myself when other people are not exposing themselves? I found a very interesting thing is that there's a lot of anger directed towards people who are not observing social distancing, right? And it's perfectly natural. Why? Because they're endangering our health system, they're endangering the lives of other people. But what's interesting is that you have to make a decision for yourself whether or not you're going to do that. And once you do, people over whom you have no control over, it remains as their choice. So obviously there's something that the government can do and so on, but try not to spend a lot of time online being simply angry without, anger works if there's something you can do about it. So if it's a family member, but if it's not, if it's random people who you don't have any access to, then it just takes away from your commitment to what you are going to do. So it's this system that gets very activated when we are under sort of mortal threat, if you will, right? If we could potentially get sick and die. Or if our finances are ruined, or resources, or status, or security. But we have another motivational system in us. This is the system that is entirely focused on development of our different potentialities. And in this system, is continually pushing us. It's whereas the survival system is run by fear, our development system is run by interest, excitement. You want to approach things that you find interesting, and fundamentally it's like if it gets tuned to its very highest level, it's love for your work, love for your community, love for the people around you, whoever that is. So here you have empathy towards strangers. So here's the thing. So we are continually taken up either by the survival or the development system. And when you're in the development system, suddenly you're going to experience this empathy. It's almost like the barrier between your well-being and well-being of other people who are not related to you breaks away. And what that means is that you might be standing in a grocery store looking at, a bunch of hand sanitizers and thinking, okay, how many do I buy? So you take 2 and you think, okay, I can take 4, right? But if there's 4, there's some people who are going to be left without. Now, what you're doing, you're switching between these 2 systems. You're thinking, no, on the survival side, I need 4. I actually need 6. Maybe I need even 8. And then on this side says, you know what? I want other members of my community to share. So you will notice this inner struggle. Self, others, self, others, self, others. And the situation is almost, it's sort of made to watch us, to help us watch what happens inside of us as we are going between these 2 different motivational systems. Emotions here are process-based, they're not goal-based. So when you're taken up by the survival system, you will only feel happy if, let's say, if you're a medical professional, if your patient survives. On the development side, you feel it about the process. How do you care about that patient? And even if the patient dies, what if the level of care and affection, and if you have done it the way you wanted it to, it keeps that emotion of deepening and joy, sort of that human emotion that connects still there. So whereas on survival, when you're overtaken by survival motivation, it will all be about the outcome. On the development side, it is how we do things. So even if a lot of people die, even if things don't turn out how we plan them to be, it is the process that will, how we live, how we decide, how we treat other people, that's going to be what will be most important to us. And here you compare to your best self. So yes, there's other people who are going to go out there and buy 200 hand sanitizers and try to resell them or whatever. But you focus your mind on what it is that you want to do. How are you going to behave in these crises, right? What is this thing inside of you that will be able to offer things to others? And this is an existential choice. This is the choice that you will have to make for yourself. So most of the time, sometimes survival will swallow up this development motivational system. Then development system will swallow up the survival motivate, and then you go back and forth fundamentally. You can sometimes be in this and feel that other people are part of you. And you go here and you say, no, me, I need to protect myself, just me. Now, notice that these 2 are always embedded in each other. We need to protect ourselves to protect others. If you're surviving, you're always developing a little bit. And if you're developing, you obviously have to be alive to be developing. But these 2 systems, you will notice, will fight for dominance in this situation. And what I want you to do is just to notice that every moment that there is a choice that you're making about in which of these systems you are. Okay.